So we're starting call to order the Transportation Advisory Board January 8th meeting. Like to do a roll call?
Chair Lehner. Board Member Bennett.
Here.
Board Member Wickland.
Here.
Board Member McInerney. Board Member McKee-Burrows. Council Member Yarbrough.
Okay, the next item is we need to, of course, appoint and have an election for the vice chair. I guess we'll open up the floor for any nominations.
There we go. I'd like to nominate Board Member Wickland.
Just checking to see if there's any other nominations. Otherwise, we'll ask for a second. I'd like to nominate somebody. Board Member McKee-Burrows.
Well, I'll gladly second myself.
I'll second Board Member McKee-Burrows.
So I guess what we can do is we can have both give us a little synopsis and or a little campaign speech. Is that acceptable? Yeah. Okay. We'll start with Taylor, or Board Member Wickland, sorry.
Well, this is awkward. Well, you know, I'm happy to fill the position as the pretty much interim vice chair because nominations will go again in June of this year. You know, I've already been part of TAB for a year and a half now, and I'm also part of the Bike Issues Committee, chair of that committee, and then also very involved in the community. So, and I will always stay involved, whether I'm vice chair or not. So, thank you.
So I've been on tab since, I guess, July, I think. So a little less time. I'm also part of the Bicycle Issues Committee. I am the secretary for the Bicycle Issues Committee. I'm also going to stay really involved, and I'd be happy to accept it, but I'd be also happy to have Board Member Wickland also take the position, so I'm happy to take it or not.
So we'll go ahead and go, I guess, around starting with Board Member Bennett and have your vote.
I vote Board Member Wickland. I will vote for myself.
And I will vote for Board Member McKee-Burrows.
For Board Member McKee-Burrows.
I am the deciding vote. I will vote for myself, I guess.
Okay, looks like we have a vote. Councilmember Yarborough does not vote, I don't think. So, do we need to do anything in terms of a second? Since we've done the vote, we're good? Okay. Yeah, next time we'll get that going. So the next we go to approving the minutes of the preceding minutes. Any corrections or comments to the minutes?
I have a couple. The first would be to correct the date in the header of minutes pages 2 through 9. And the second would be, it's more of a clarification really. Minutes page 5, line 21 reads, microtransit, which will be a formalized Uber Lyft system for Longmont. End quote. So I'm guessing that Lyft would not be L-I-F-T, but rather L-Y-F-T. But I'm also wondering whether that's an accurate representation of the statement that was made. And if it is accurate, my question is it likely that Uber and Lyft are going to be the city's contractors for microtransit?
Well, they very well could be. I mean, they could certainly bid on this if they want to, but we're going to make it, a third-party contractor. It won't be the same type of system as Uber and Lyft today, as far as drivers being able to just sign up as they want to and dictating the route, the rates by however many drivers you have. We'll have a company. The plan is to have a company that will have a set amount of drivers and vehicles. And the vehicles will be owned by the company, and the drivers will be paid by the company. So it won't be, the Uber and Lyft was really meant to describe the type of system, an on-demand system. So I think you're correct in that we don't want to say the words formalized, but it would be microtransit, which is a form of Uber Lyft type system. If that makes sense to you.
Thanks for the clarification.
Sure.
Anything else?
I would just inquire if it would be better to instead say rideshare system, or if it's just clearer to say Uber Lyft.
Yeah, I'm good either way. I mean, however you feel is best.
So we should just change it then to, if we're all in agreement, microtransit, which will be a form of rideshare for Longmont. Does that sound correct?
And not mention company names. Perfect.
Okay, great. With nothing else, I guess we'll need a motion to approve. I motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay, Phil, you're up.
Thank you. Some communications from staff. We have a few this week or this month. First, just wanted to start, we do have that legislative breakfast tomorrow morning, so bright and early in Boulder at the Glenn Miller Ballroom. If you've already RSVP'd and have a ticket, please attend. That would be wonderful. Otherwise, let us know if you are wanting to go, and we can still get you in probably. So if you're interested but did not sign up originally. It's it's a little. I don't know if they're sold out yet or what, but let me know and we'll try to figure something out. It's gonna be tough at this time of night to figure that out, but I think we could still get you in. So let me know. Also, just to give you a heads up, we are planning to do a Kaufman Street outreach for the current project from First Avenue North to 9th. We're planning an outreach event at the library on Wednesday, January 31st from 5:30 to 7. And then, if you're really excited about things, all things transportation, the next day, we're doing a transportation mobility plan open house at the library, February 1st, from 5:30 to 7 at the library. So come join us for both events if you can, especially the TMP, I think. The Kaufman Street is really more of an outreach to the local businesses and more of that information more related to construction, but we certainly like to see it both. But I understand our schedules are all pretty tight, so just want to let you know that. And then finally, our Winter Bike to Work Day will be held on February 9th, which is a Friday. That's a 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. event. We'll have a breakfast station at the Development Services Center somewhere, either along 4th Avenue or along Kimbark Street. Either it'll be at the Development Services Center, which is the older courthouse building on the corner there where we all work. So we're thinking about doing it at the Creation Station, which is that 4th Avenue entrance, just as like a warming area for people as they ride up. And so we're not sure about the weather, of course, but if it's anything like today, we'll certainly want to bring you inside and warm you up. That's all we had for communications from staff at this time. Unless you had any questions about any other activities you've heard about and want to know more about. Great. Same time, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the library. And that's the Transportation Mobility Plan. First open house. We're really hoping to kind of kick off the event to the public at that open house event.
Okay, we don't look as if we have any public invited here, so we can move on to the information items, or I should say the action items, right? So the proposed work plan?
Right, we do have one action item for you tonight for you to vote on, and we would like to make sure we get an approval either with or without recommendations from the TAB. So let us know what you think. But we did hand this out in December. I know a few folks were not available at that December meeting, but we did want to make sure we got the work plan out for 2024, so you would be able to look it over and just check it out to see if you had any corrections. At the time of our December meeting, you did have some, or the TAB did have some comments, so we wanted to incorporate some of those, and one of them was, we've tried to highlight all the changes that we made from last year, so all the yellow highlights are kind of things that we know about now. One of them is the February meeting. We will have RTD peak service study presentation to this group, so we're looking forward to that. That's going to be above and beyond the typical, RTD download of all the information, all the data, ridership, where they are with other elements of the planning process. So this will be a little different and very much specific to the peak service study, and so they can explain to you where they are with that and how we're working as partners to get that thing going and off the ground, or on the ground, I guess, so it's rolling along the ground. Also, we want to have a front range passenger rail, so that's separate. So the peak service study is something very much related to commuter rail, something very much like the A line or the N line that's already existing in Denver, and bringing that as maybe 3 trains in the morning, 3 trains out in the afternoon. RTD's kind of replacement of the Northwest Rail, which was promised to be more of 55 trains a day kind of thing. So front range passenger rail is more of an Amtrak type service. So that's one of those ones where it's more intercity or intracity. So it's really trying to move people between the different cities from Fort Collins all the way down to Colorado Springs, and probably basing or hubbing in Denver. So you might have to switch trains if you're going all the way to Colorado Springs. But there's still there's a lot of unknowns with that. So we do want to have them come in maybe in the April, May timeframe and talk to us a little bit more about that and nuanced difference between the two systems. And there's a lot going on there. And they may have to go to a vote of the district. There's a district that's already been formed along the whole Front Range. And so they may have to go, they may be pressed to go to a vote in 2024 to start taxing that district. And we want to certainly say things like, hey, we're paying fast tracks tax already. So how are we going to work that into what you want from a front range passenger rail district? But I don't want to give away the punchlines, of course. But anyway, I also changed the transportation mobility plan to ongoing because we're in the midst of it now. So we'll keep that going, and then enhanced multimodal plan. That's kind of moving into the transportation mobility plan realm. So there's a lot of things that are going to be taken up by the TMP process. Enhanced multimodal plan is part of that. You'll see that EMUX, enhanced multimodal multi-use plan or multi-use corridors are going to move into that as well. So there's a number of the things that transportation mobility plan is going to take over that have been kind of these smaller sub-plans before. Then we're going to move 2024 CIP project updates as a quarterly item rather than just be once a year, because there are so many things, as we discovered last month with Jim's update, that there's so many moving parts to these things that we want to keep you updated so that you know the latest and greatest with what's going on. And so when we come to you kind of more in the middle of the year asking you about 2025 CIP projects, you kind of have a sense of already what's been going on, and we don't have to kind of do them as two pieces as much. Obviously, we're doing the work plan today, so January is obviously always going to be that one, so we'll just keep that as January. Vision Zero is now ongoing. We're hiring a new coordinator. She technically actually starts January 22nd, so we're very excited to have, I can't say her name yet, but she hasn't formally announced to her current employer yet, so I'll let you know as soon as we can tell you. Probably at the next meeting we'll introduce her to everybody and have her be here. So we're very excited for that. It's I think you'll be very excited to see how this process moves forward after that. Then microtransit, we brought that up a little bit. Q1 is really to start talking about we really want to have a proposal out there, a request for proposal, excuse me. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of that and how that's moving forward. So that'll be quarter number one. You've asked for, at the last meeting, a snow and ice control update. There were some issues with trails and maybe not as much streets, but trails. So we wanted to give you an update on where we are with snow and ice removal this year, 2024. So that'll be quarter one. That'll probably be March as well. March, April. March. It's got to be March if it's quarter one. Or February, I suppose, but we've got a busy February already. And then Q2, we want to talk about, start the discussion on what the ride-free Longmont piece feels like. As far as there's a new fare structure that you've probably heard about in the newspapers. RTD's got this brand new fare structure. We heard about it at their last update as well, but some of you weren't available for that, so, or not here at the time. But we think that new fare structure makes a lot more sense for Longmont. And so we've got a lot of requests from especially the drivers on the routes to please put back a fare system just because they're feeling overrun by people kind of maybe abusing the routes a little bit as far as on and off, jumping on and off without really a destination in mind. And so there's a little sense from the drivers anyway that there's been some abuse on the system. So we want to bring that up to the TAB first and then take it to City Council. We're certainly, as staff, we'll do whatever the policy dictates to move that forward. But we wanted to give you some pros and cons just to let you know where things are. We've been doing this program for about 10 years now. So it's exciting. It was great when it started. It really showed that there was a impediment to transit, and that was the fares. And so I think we've proven that out, and now that the fares have come down, first time in history that RTD's lowered their fares. So we may want to take advantage of that and put that into a system, especially as we roll microtransit out into the city. So this might be one of those things where microtransit is that first and last mile piece that really connects all. But enough said about all that. We hope that this is something that you feel comfortable with moving forward into the new year. And let us know if you have any questions or comments or additions or subtractions. So thank you.
Excuse me, I know a lot of effort was put into this, and you've made, I think, some of the changes from some of the input from the board prior to this. So we'll just start with Councilmember Bennett and see if, or board member, sorry, and see if there's any comments, questions, or issues.
Yes. Overall, I'd say that this is a great document, and the only thing that sticks out for me is I want clarification on the sugar mill and steam project, given the voters rejecting the proposal for the entertainment center. I would like to see how that impacts the transit and if it is still necessary for it to be an ongoing update.
But yeah, if there, I wasn't sure if that was just a comment or a question, but we'll certainly, if we need to, we could just change that to as needed rather than ongoing. Does that help with the direction? Okay. We can do that then in the next iteration. Oh,
So just a little more information on the sugar mill and the steam. Those projects, while the city has put together a kind of a planning document on it, it is developer driven. And the city, they're particularly with the sugar factory area, there are a significant number of hurdles to get past. There's wetlands, there's environmental issues, there's floodplain. So it is not going to be a quick process to begin developing that. And that property on the sugar factory isn't even annexed in the city yet. So there has been a number of proposals as to how that's going to be developed with the Arts and Entertainment Center as only one component of it. But that will be a planning thing, and as we note as needed, if we get more information, we'd certainly bring it back as those plans develop.
Well, because I missed last meeting, I think one thing I would like to add, and I do kind of thank Diane for adding this in the email, the 2022 Dr. Cog report, is kind of a little bit of maybe discussion in Longmont's micromobility outlook, and if we could come up with a number of, population and how much that's coming through, just so that we can also plan a transit system around that. Because what was interesting from the Dr. Cog report was that tripled since 2019, where driving VMT miles has actually decreased still, hasn't gone above 2019 levels. So I just think it's maybe we're looking at the future of mobility. So I think we should try to be aware of that.
do you want to keep that as an ongoing,
Yeah,
and we'll just slide it under Dr. Cog as a congestion?
yeah. Because I know
Monitor.
that, I know we talked about B-cycle is one avenue, but also there's a lot of other options out there as well. And whether people privately own their mobility options. So that's all I have.
We'll add that. And under Dr. Cog, I think is, and micromobility, we'll throw that in as well.
The proposed 2024 work plan looks good to me. Thanks staff for all their attention to detail in it.
So I wasn't here in December either, as everyone noticed, I'm sure. So I did watch the recording, so I do have an idea of what you discussed last time, which is helpful. I just watched it this afternoon, so I'm very up to date. There was we had a discussion in the Bicycle Issues Committee this last month about maybe presenting here at TAB about some issues with signage for the detour. And so I was wondering if maybe we could invite the Bicycle Issues Committee to come and attend and give a presentation to TAB about current bicycle issues like the detour, signs, and any other things that are coming up.
Yeah, we've got them listed with bike and ped, so that's as needed, absolutely.
Yeah, because it felt like we were just kind of going in circles without having a good solution for the sign problems. So
Right, I think the Bicycle Issues Committee also said that they wanted to talk with staff first.
Okay.
So they've changed a little bit of the direction to meet with staff first, but then we can mix that into this group whenever we need to.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you could put it under the bike and ped as needed, and maybe add either signage and or issues that come up from the bicycle committee.
oh, and if maybe we can have an update. I think it's part of the TMP already, but about the bike and ped plan moving forward, because I think that's being updated as part of the TMP. But
That's correct, yes.
okay, 'cause
Hopefully
that
we'll hear a lot
would be
about that on February 1st,
great. Okay,
yeah.
great.
and even later.
And the bicycle code as well. I think you're updating that too.
So the action item is with the changes that we're going to make from tonight and from what's been made, that we need to, of course, approve it. So I need a motion to approve.
I move that the board approve the proposed 2024 work plan.
With the changes you discussed.
Right,
Okay.
as amended.
And I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Looks like that's the heavy lifting, right? Okay, so Phil, there's no other action items?
That's it for tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess we'll switch it around. We'll start with actually Councilmember Yarborough. Give us comments for tonight.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have any, actually. Like I said, Happy New Year to everyone, and let's make 2024 a better pedestrian-friendly year in the city of Longmont.
Well, I want to thank staff for their continued hard work. And I look forward to seeing what you're doing in 2024. Thank you for the nomination and election as Vice Chair of TAB. I look forward to taking it on. Hopefully I never have to actually do anything and you'll be here every meeting, but I'm sure I'll be fine if you're not here. And since I was traveling again over the winter, I was gone for an entire month this time. I was traveling in France and England. It just kind of always draws my attention to the differences in transportation between the different places. It feels so much more ahead in European cities than it is here. And I would love to see Longmont be like the forefront of making American cities much more similar in terms of transportation, like making light rail very easy and having buses going every 5 minutes. And it would be great to see that in Longmont one day. So that's my long-term dream.
I'm looking forward to working with my fellow board members and staff, Councilmember Yarborough in 2024. I do have one question. Has a TMP steering committee meeting been scheduled yet?
There has not been one scheduled yet formally. We're very close, though. You'll be hearing about this very, very soon, within the next 2 weeks, I believe. So, thank you.
Well, I guess I will also say happy 2024. Happy New Year. I had a little bit of different travel in December. I went through a lot of America and Canada. And I'll say that there is some actually interesting things going on, especially when we talk about bike and ped safety. So I'm really looking forward to a little bit of that discussion of what can be done easily and simply and cheaply. So just to get us started. So instead of waiting 20 years. So, but yeah, I do look forward to a very productive year. Thank you.
Yes, so happy 2024 as well. And with that, I am excited to see RTD's new fare structure. It'll be exciting to see how that may encourage riders across the Front Range to go and try out the bus system. Likewise, on a separate issue for RTD that I have concern about is I recently boarded a ride-free Longmont bus and asked for a transfer and was told that they no longer are accepting transfers. And this was a surprise to me. And so I went to the RTD's website as the bus driver said that his manager told him that they are no longer accepting it. And if you look on RTD's website, an updated Ride Free Longmont webpage says as of January 4th, 2023, so they updated it, still saying that they will accept doing transfers upon request. And so, and likewise, it says the same on the Boulder County's website. And so I am confused and also concerned for the drivers as this will cause unnecessary frustration due to the lack of communication on what's happening here.
Yeah, just as a follow-up to that comment, staff was not made aware of that issue, but with the elimination of regional routes, so it's all, there's no such thing as a local route anymore. There's no such thing as a regional route. It's just one fare for everything. So I could see that they're now saying, hey, you can't ask for a transfer on a ride-free local bus because that'll get you anywhere in the system for nothing. So you could really play the game, I guess, as far as the system goes. And so I'm wondering if that's not part of it, and might be another reason why we need to start talking about, bringing back the fare structure so there is some part of that.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And ultimately, transparency is key because it's saying conflicting things on the website, as well as on this so-called updated web page. It also says that you can transfer to the LD, LX, J, and Bolt, and of that, the LX and J have been discontinued for years. This is like over 3 years, and so yeah, so I'm just at the very least requesting that RTD update their page.
Thanks. That's very helpful for us, and we'll pass that along tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, Happy New Year, right? I guess we've all said that. And I appreciate all the work, again, that staff does, and of course the work by the board, because when we look at the work plan and some of the things, even in the short time that I've been here, it's grown. I mean, we're adding, more modes, and we're talking about passenger rail and the light rail. It's actually very exciting that we are at least talking. That means that we're trying to move forward with some of these things. I do have one thing that I want to mention, and this is just a little pet peeve on a drive on the west side of town. Is Clover Basin at the curve where the St. Vrain School offices are? And it almost is as if we've done a little bit of a road diet there. I've noticed there's a lot of folks that are walking on the shoulder, which is perfectly fine. They're pedestrians. But folks are going very fast through that corridor. And because of the bend, they're crossing over into this bike lane. And I've actually seen them go up onto the shoulder. So I'm wondering if there's a chance you could do a driver feedback unit or something there, or maybe even a temporary one to tell folks what their speed is. Maybe that would get them to slow down. Because it's 35, and I've seen people go 50 through there, believe it or not. Clover Basin in between, what would that be, Fordham and Airport. And the other challenge is because of the geometric of the turn, what happens is that some folks are turning left into that neighborhood past the school offices, and I've seen some folks really slam on their brakes as well. Just something I've noticed because I drive that. Sorry.
Thanks. We'll take that into consideration and move that along to Kyle and see if we can't get a speed trailer out there.
Yeah.
In the short term and just maybe monitor it with some other patrols. Yep.
If people are aware, maybe that'll help. So great. I guess we've gone through our comments. Items for the upcoming agenda.
Well, good thing we went through our work plan. I think we talked a little bit about that. So you'll see in February the peak service study piece. We also have the snow and ice control. We'll try to figure out if that's February or March. And then the microtransit piece too, just to get you an idea of the scope of work for that. And then the introduction of our new Vision Zero coordinator. Yep. Thanks.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I will motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Great. That adjourns the meeting for tonight. Thank you.